Supreme Magus, Chapter 80, Day 2, Aftermath. While Termin was still in a daze, Belia didn't miss the opportunity to strike with her most powerful lightning spell. The Chingy was incapable of using fusion magic, so it took a clean hit, its whole body going into a spasm, keeping it an easy target. Damn it, Belia thought. I was so scared when those things attacked. That's only thanks to Floria's instruction that I didn't freeze again. And to add insult to the injury, I was in such a rush that I ended using bladed battle armor instead of the bashing one. Edge weapons are useless against such thick protections. On my life, here goes everything. As soon as the lightning struck, Belia rearranged the ice shards that compose her armor, turning the gloves in war hammers that she slammed with the combined strength of her arms and flight spell between the Chingy's eyes. The impact was strong enough to make the beast take a few steps back while shaking its head, trying to regain focus. The several blades conjured from the ice armor started to spin on their axes, turning into a buzz saw. Following Belia's will, they encircled the enemy, attacking from all sides, managing, thanks to their high-speed rotation, to cut through the rock-hard skin. Termin scoffed at the girl's efforts. Please, the first hit is for free. The next ones, you have to earn them. Just like the day of their first encounter, the Chingy activated Mountain Body, its strongest defense spell. Every inch of the Termin's body turned to a shiny black, its density raised to the extreme thanks to a massive flow of earth magic. A short charge forward was enough to send Belia crashing against three, stopping the blade swarm in its attack. Floria had no idea how to stop something so strong and heavy, yet she had to try. It was in that moment that the situation turned for the worse, with lightning and dark projectiles raining from the sky. That's a game two can play, Vision inwardly screamed. Gods, why in the hero's tales they are never caught in the middle of the spell? Talking should be a free action. It was his time to shine, yet he was forced to keep chanting the third Warden formation, while with his foot he activated the magic symbol he had engraved in the ground. All he could do was use force magic to create a bang noise, alerting his companions. Instantly, the entire area of the fight was surrounded by a magnetic enriched stone pillars that acted like powerful lightning rods and intercepted every single electricity magic-based attack. I wanted to complete all three to maximize their effect, but we are losing ground every second. Gritting his teeth, Vision activated the second ray, creating a 10 meters radius low-gravity field. The four mages had all stored the flight spell in their rings or were already flying, so they could instantly cope with the sudden change. Gravity or not, it made no difference to them. But when Termin tried to take Floria's shield, she only had to give it a strong push upwards to send it in the air like the Chingy was just a balloon. Belia's armor had already reformed, and she was ready to intercept the enemy. According to the plan, she should have kept it in the air, exploiting the Chingy's weakness to wear it down with physical and magical attacks, giving Floria the time to take care of the Rai, but avoiding the sudden hail of darkness bullets and foiling the Termin's attempt to reach the ground required all her focus, leaving Belia no time to attack. Termin was conjuring tendrils of earth to get back down, generating at the same time thick ice shields to intercept Belia's spells and ice bullets to keep her away. The Chingy couldn't allow to be hit by a lift again. It would have been too humiliating falling twice for the same trick. Termin was giving its all, swimming towards the tendrils. All Belia could do was use her conjured weapons to cut the tendrils as soon as they arose from the ground, while dodging the combined attacks the magical beasts were raining on her. Lid could only curse their bad luck. Who would have thought that magical beasts can use arrays too? Based on what I have seen, if I could use true magic, I could fight on par with one of them. But as a fake magic user, we need two of us to make one of them. Even if Myrna was still with us, we would still be at disadvantage. He have only until Vision formations run out of juice before the wipeout. Got to take care of that crown, and fast. As soon as the second Warden array was activated, Lid circled around the flabbergasted Emruk, whose legs were now a few centimeters floating above the ground, grabbing it by the tail and throwing it towards Floria. According to the plan, it was up to her to get rid of the Rye with the ace in the hole Lid had kindly provided. But even without the lightning, Center's control on the array was on another level compared to Vision's. Center could freely manipulate the dark bullets, aiming only to their enemies, greatly reducing the advantage the low gravity field granted the man-pups. The crown would also reinforce the barrage, adding wind blades, making any attempt to attack their allies even harder. Despite always having refused to learn how to fly, Emruk was a natural at air magic. Even just reacting by instinct, the Rye was able to move enough to avoid almost all Floria's half-baked attacks. Seeing no other way out, Lee decided to resort to a ridiculous plan that had just popped into his head. Termin was completely focused on Belia and controlling the tendrils. Its back was wide open. The Chingy had yet to notice that Lid and Floria had switched opponents. Lid shot a fireball at the ground below Termin. The resulting explosion propelled it in the air away from the earth tendrils and scattering the defensive shields. Lid moved below the belly of the beast, pushing it upwards with all the speed and strength he could muster. Vision Array didn't cover that much space. Lid needed to gain momentum fast before the reduced gravity effect wore off. He soared the skies, willingly walking into Center's trap, using Termin as a shield, though it was the poor Chingy that took all the damage in his stead, grunting at its opponent for using such a dirty tactic. Center was forced to temporarily stop the sky array. Termin could take lightnings all day and whistle the whole time, but darkness bullets were another story. Every time they hit, they would sap the strength and vitality of the victim. When all the momentum had dissipated and the Chingy had started to plummet, Centaur hesitated for a moment. The crown could see its friend had gone limp. Its eyes were clouded by the fatigue and pain from all the friendly fire it had endured. Centaur was worried that failing from that height, Termin could get seriously wounded if he didn't manage to soften the landing. Lid exploited their friendship, using the momentum to reveal himself, casting his new and hopefully sure kill spell. Despite its name, Checkmate's pair had yet to defeat a single opponent. Burning Prison. 6 fireballs appeared at the same time around Center, one above, one below, and the others in a square shape, resembling for a moment a giant flaming 8-faced die. Without giving the enemy the time to react, they all detonated together, inflicting heavy damages, despite the air shield Center had managed to conjure at the last split second. Back at the castle, having nothing else to do, The professors were spectating and commenting their students' performances. "That's my student!" Professor Vaster was puffing his chest with pride. "I always told you, Thurman, healing magic develops calm and foresight. That alone wins half of the battle," he said while actually looking at the headmaster, trying to get extra funds from him, like everybody else. "Nonsense," Professor Wainwire replied. "That's thanks to my classes. Only a forge master can have such a quick casting and precision at timing his spells. Bah, you should get a full checkup as soon as possible. Clearly there is something wrong in your head." Vaster scoffed at her remark. "What if I killed you both at the same time? You are running my show." Manowar yelled, throwing salty snacks at them. Unlike the others, he was sitting on a very comfortable-looking armchair, surrounded by bowls filled with delicacies. He was zapping from fight to fight, looking for something interesting. Right now, he was trying to follow Floria's group from different angles through the surveillance mirrors. "Man, this stuff is good," he said while eating a pretzel-like snack. "We should record and sell it. I called dibs on the profits. I need more funds, okay, Linjos?" Headmaster could tolerate the lack of honorifics, but the idea of making a business out of the sweat and blood of his students was too much. Those were the lives of young adults, not the entertainment for some rich and bored noble. Yet the idea had its allure. The academy was a black hole for money. No matter how much the kingdom invested in it, there were never enough. "I'm more interested in one student managing to develop a Tier 4 personal spell after a month. Good job, Naliar." Professor Naliar replied with a polite bow, using the hand behind her back to give the finger to her boastful competitors. Before the smoke dissipated, Lit was already charging full speed ahead. "I bet everything I have that the crone is still alive and kicking. No matter how much I put in a single spell, is never enough against a magical beast." And he was right. Center was injured, but far from being knocked out. It had managed to compensate quality with quantity, conjuring a series of concentric air barriers, halving the spell effectiveness. While the crone was still dazed by the booms and the blinding flames, Lit appeared through the lingering smoke. Putting the potion finally at use, he punched Center multiple times in the head and body. Back on the ground, without covering fire, Emruk was losing ground quickly. The ray intercepted every lightning, while Floria's shields offered protection against any quick spell it could whip up. Floria was managing to hit more and more often. Her sword was perfect for piercing the thick fur and skin of the rye, that was now bleeding from multiple points. After using Blast Guard to throw her opponent off balance, she took out something from her dimensional amulet, using First Magic to keep it on the tip of her sword. At the next step, Emruk did his best to dodge, but Floria still managed to use her superior mobility to stab through, injecting the clacker's poison Lit had saved from the previous day in the enemy's side.